Good evening, Bula Vinaka and Namaste. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, as promised, the second set of contestants for Hibiscus Festival 2025. And just like last night, we will have three segments with a set of questions for the Queen contestants for this year. We are so happy that they accepted our invitation. For all of you listening and watching around Fiji and around the world, a special moment. It's the 69th Hibiscus Festival, of course, next year, the big one, 70 years. And it's a pleasure to have all the Queen contestants here on Fiji Village Straight Talk. We have Miss Leleuvia Resort Tiare Colavoli tonight, Miss National Fire Authority Rhyelle Aisea, Miss APCO Coatings Gitali Ram, Miss Unique Rubber Stems Temalesi Tuiwalese, and Miss Social Advocacy Network Anaseini Loiloi. We'll go straight into it. First of all, for all the contestants, starting with Tiare, why have you joined this year's pageant and what are your main motivating factors, Tiare?
Hello, Vijay. When I was approached to take part at the pageant, my initial thought was, no. I'm a big fan of the hibiscus, I grew up with it, but being a part of it, being up on the stage, I definitely knew that was not my comfort zone. And then I had to think about it for a week. I talked about it with my parents, and I thought, it's a one-off experience. I'm never going to experience this again. Having the platform, having the opportunity to talk about something important to a wider audience, and enjoying the entire experience in itself with the ladies and all the other visits that we've done and we're going to do this week. And it's been great.
Rhyelle?
Well, a month ago, I was actually praying for an opportunity because I'm someone who my family labels as a nerd. It's just me and my books, helping myself to my books. So I prayed for an opportunity to be able to help others more than just myself, to challenge myself. And when my father actually works for the NFA, he's their fleet officer. And so when he asked me, just as Miss Leleuvia, I said no, because instantly I said that was not for me. But after spending some time by myself, I realized that, why did I say no? I am very much capable as anyone else. We all have the same capabilities, maybe different abilities that God has given us, but still capable either way. So I took on the opportunity and I remembered my prayer. And advancing into this role has made me realize that I not only drew strength from my prayers and my family, but also being able to represent the NFA, who are people look at them in an abstract sense. They just think of the NFA as just firefighters, people in uniform who come to save them from fires. But they fail to understand that these people are helping them build their own resilience by going into their homes, their schools, advocating on how to prevent fires in the first place. And also not many people know that the NFA has their own paramedics unit. They are emergency people that respond when people need critical medical care, with just a three-digit number of 910. Yes, so I believe that this was a great opportunity to challenge myself, to not only represent myself and my family, my values, but also people that I care about as well.
We move on to Gitali.
Bulavanaka, Fiji. So me getting into hibiscus was something I did not expect. My uncle sent the poster to me and he was like, I think you should do it. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm ready for it. And then I went to the kitchen and I was opening the fridge to get food for lunch. And I saw my mom's winning pageant pictures back from the 80 and the 90. My mom's a two-time local pageant winner. And I saw her picture again. And I just sat down on the table and I gave it a thought. And I'm like, Mom did it, and Mom has always told us that use a voice. You have a voice, and if you get a platform, use your voice on a platform. Make a change. Do it for the community. Do it for yourself. And so filled out the form, got with an interview with APCO, And it was a full 360 moment because 15 years ago, I did a community children initiative that APCO used to do. It was the Color and Win competition. So I used to do that, and it sits with my morals and what I stand for. And APCO took me on board. So looking back, it's a really incredible journey. 15 years ago, it was APCO who was getting the children of the community together, and now I'm walking side by side with them, trying to get the children in the community together, the youth together, trying to make a change, trying to use this platform, and hopefully I do, or am able to at least change someone's life. I'm not going to say big promises that I want to change 1,000 lives, but as long as I'm able to change one life, one youth's life, one family's life, that's the start of my biggest journey ever. Yeah, that's it.
Gitali, I think those around Fiji and the world would want to know your mom's name, because you said she's a two-time.
So my mom was Miss MRTL in one of the years, and then she was Miss Valevutu. So my mom's name is Shamli, and the one she did in the 90s, she won the pageant here in Fiji, and then she won a trip to New Zealand. So go, Mom.
Now we move on to Temalesi.
Boleh Vijay. So my name is Temalesi di Atta Tuiwalese, and I'm Miss Unique Rubber Stamp. So ever since I was a child, I've always dreamt of taking part in Miss Hibiscus, and I applied to the Suva City Council, and they found me a sponsor. I got interviewed, and then I got dropped. My name got dropped, unfortunately, but then I said to myself, oh no, it's okay, I'll try again next year or the other year. But then I was in the middle of the class when I got the phone call that they already found another sponsor. I was like, okay, so this is my chance to show the young girls back in my village that anything is possible, despite your background, despite your background or where you come from, anything is possible. You can be taking part also in this Hibiscus Festival.
Congratulations that you made it.
Yes, thank you.
Anaseini.
So I was in Lambasta, traveled to Lambasta last week, and I was in a funeral at my grandmother's village. I received a phone call, and then they were asking if I could take part, and I was like, no. And then I was telling my dad, and then my dad was like, oh, Anna, this is a good experience for you, and you've been modeling for 7 years. I do modeling as well. You've been modeling for 7 years, and I think you can do that. And I was like, okay, Dad. So I came back Thursday. I was with my mom, and I told my mom, and my mom was like, oh, you should go for it. And I said, okay, I'm going for it. And then I was thinking, before I went to sleep, I was thinking about the youth here in Fiji and how they are actually not in a, what should I say, suffering from drug abuse. And then I said, okay, I'll give it a try.
Again, congratulations to all of you that you made the decision to be on this platform, and what a great platform it is this week. I no doubt that you having the time of your lives at the age that you sit in, and it's as we were discussing before we started, it's been quite a journey already. Now I'll start off with Rhyelle. The next question: tourism is the biggest industry in Fiji. How can young people be more than just workers and actually take leadership roles in it?
Well, that's a very good question. For my Rutuman side, there's this group named Rako. And at first, Rutuman, I believe the initiative was to project the Rutuman language to a greater audience, because Rutuman is one of those languages that are endangered. So instead of, not the tourism side, but more like advocating for more people, that the Rutuman language is also one of those languages that need preservation. And I believe that that is not only for the Rutuman side, but most of the Pacific languages as well are at the verge of becoming endangered, extinct, or majority of our words are being altered and modified. So I believe that that's another great way of promoting our culture in tourism side, other than dance and cultural artifacts, but I believe that language is a strong key because it carries more than just words. It carries our stories, our myths, our beliefs, and our ways of communication.
Gitali, what do you think? Tourism is the biggest industry in Fiji. How can young people be more than just workers?
As soon as you said the question, the first thing that came to my head was like Mata dance group, folk dance group. When I think of them, I see fire dancing. I can fire dance myself. I do not see that many Indo-Fijian girls fire dancing, so I do know how to fire dance. And I think creative arts is a great way to use, because I stand for the youth. And I hope that youths use their unique talents to create job opportunities, leadership roles to attract tourism. These dance groups, they have really young members. And I think what they're doing is quite amazing.
Temalesi?
I believe we can use what Miss NFA has mentioned. Use our cultural customs like dancing, our meke, and also our language. Yeah.
Anaseini?
Well, for me, it's going to be, okay, the workers in the tourism industry, about building breweries and all this stuff in the tourism industry. I know there's like modern facilities in tourism industries, but for me, I would like to see like building breweries, bringing our history inside tourism industry. Thank you.
We'll give Miss Leleuvia your answer, please.
I was waiting to answer that question because I was going to sell Leleuvia to the audience that will be watching. I agree with Miss Social Advocacy Network's answer. She mentioned building bures, and when you come to Leleuvia, you will notice that it's not very commercialized. It doesn't have fancy buildings, and I had talked about this before. They've got mbures, they've got mosquito nets, and there is a way that we can introduce it into tourism more, maybe, and with reference to the young people, how they can be workers. How can they be what? More
than just workers.
More than just workers, yes. They can just be more workers if they are given the opportunity to lead community campaigns, lead community activities. We see young people, young men, they're selling booze, they're selling coconut juice by the road. They can be organized to be like a formal business, and they can lead that themselves. That is an idea I had.
Now, Gitali, if you could create one new tourism idea to showcase Fiji, what would it be?
One new tourism idea. I'm not sure if it's in plan or if the initiative is on, but something more than planting just corals and mangroves. That includes diving, snorkeling, turning trips like these that solely focuses on more coral and mangrove plantations. In a way, it will benefit Fiji and our shores while bringing in tourists that come in for diving and snorkeling, but at the end, we're still benefiting through it. So something like that, but at a greater audience, at a greater reach, with the sole purpose of getting the tourism in through snorkeling and diving, but to make sure that those activities enable that the corals are planted by the people who want to go for snorkeling and diving, more mangroves are planted. So something like this.
Anaseini, what would be one new tourism idea to showcase Fiji if you were given the opportunity?
My idea is a sightseeing environment. For example, Sleeping Giant in Otoka, if I'm right.
Rhyelle?
Well, in my very first interview, I spoke to the media and I told them about how my outfit, the bag, the sash that I had, the flower that I had, was all made by hand. there's this group of people who are doing my wardrobe, who gather all these materials, natural, local, and they put together amazing pieces. Even the headpiece I'm wearing on my hair is made from hand. And I believe that our Pacific people have such great talent. We do not lack talent because we were voyagers, we were warriors, we were healers, artisans. We are very creative people. And that is also another way for tourism to be more attracted, because people will obviously look at something and see the creativity and be attracted. And to be able to use this in the tourism sector is not only advocating but also protecting our culture and promoting people's skills as well. So yes, handicrafts, art and craft is, Pacific people do not lack talent at all. So this is a gateway.
Tiare?
I was wondering if we'd have culture shows like how we have the Hibiscus, and we have beautiful, a variety of cultures in Fiji. We are very, very multicultural, and that introduced in a show like the Hibiscus, and they come and they introduce the different unique, their uniqueness in their culture. I wonder if that would be done. I would introduce that if I had the opportunity to.
Temalesi?
When you speak about tourism, I was thinking about my home island in Vanolivu, especially South Savo, a hidden paradise. So we have a lot of beautiful sightings, especially the views and the waterfalls. We have like big waterfalls and very beautiful sightings. And yes, I think I might take the tourists there.
Take everyone to
take
the
everyone
hidden
to the
paradise.
hidden paradise.
For free or to pay? Now, what do you think of young people, Temalesi? Do you think our young people are being given enough opportunities, or do they still have to fight too hard for them?
I think they are fighting too hard to get job opportunities, because I believe there are many young people already graduated, still hasn't found any job. That is because there isn't enough job opportunities, and I believe like nowadays they prefer experiences rather than the degrees or the achievements they've made.
Anaseini? Do you think our young people are being given enough opportunities, or do they still have to fight too hard for those opportunities?
I think they still have to fight too hard, because there's lots of student dropouts, and even though there's still vocational schools for school dropouts, but we still need to add more energy to our community, especially to the young people.
Tiare?
I feel that the young people have opportunities. I'm not one-sided, I will explain, but I feel neutral.
It's your view.
Yes. I feel that there are opportunities, and young people, and I feel that the young people need to be not to be stressed, but be made aware or be made educated of the opportunities that are actually available. And on the other hand, there might also be gaps in the education system, maybe, and there might be suggestions. One suggestion would be maybe in year 9 and year 10, and then when we come to year 11, we just pick science or we pick the other subjects. But what about the trade jobs that is introduced later on, and then by the time they've already dropped out of school? And so I'm neutral in my point of view. Yeah.
What about you, Rhyelle?
I'm so glad you asked, because this was actually my topic in today's private judging. Youth unemployment, yes. In my opinion, and with the research that I've done, Fiji is indeed a progressive country, but everything is mostly on paper. There's a lack of reinforcement. There's a lack of initiative, action, I would say. Everything, there's a legislation, there's a policy, but people lack we lack the resources to facilitate those policies. There's a lack of action to actually move those words into place. So yes, our youths, they have to fight for opportunities. And it's really sad because looking at Fiji as a diverse country, we have so many opportunities that we can enforce. There's the green side of things. Youths, they plant, they have very green hands. They are very innovative with how the planting methods, the fishing methods. And if we invest in those methods, I believe that that can be a source of employment for them. And on the other side of culture, our youths, our Pacific youths, we all have at least a grounding in our culture itself. Majority of us know our dances, our songs, our storytellings, and some of us even design clothes or artifacts, like I've said. And if there was also another funding for this place to actually put this into motion, then that would also be another source of employment for our youths. Yes.
Gitali, do you think our young people are being given enough opportunities, or do they still have to fight for those opportunities?
So my advocacy is youth empowerment through education. Education is free in Fiji. So every child has a shot at getting education. And the children that do make it through their education, primary, secondary, and tertiary, when they do graduate and they try to get a job, our jobs sector is not very much accommodating. I'm not just talking about white collar jobs, even blue collar jobs. A lot of vocational students are just leaving country, going to Australia and New Zealand. Why? Is it better pay? So I think education is there, and those who are not able to get education is due to external factors like drug use, family issues, poverty. So it's a very mixed reaction from me, because education is there, but then the job sector, the job workforce is not as much as accommodating as it should be to be able to cater to students that are graduating and getting into their respective career fields.
Now, Anaseini, how important is mentorship for young people, and who has been a mentor in your life?
Well, I think it's good to have a mentor. It actually encourages you to succeed in life. So my mentor would be, Melania Torra. Melania Torra is the Hibiscus Queen for 2024. I can see like she has lots of courage and she has lots of energy, and talking about women rights and especially the youth rights. So yeah, I look up to her.
Rhyelle?
It is really important to have a mentor in your life or someone that you look up to. For me personally, I come from a family where the women are all vocal speakers. And so I drew strength from them because I grew up seeing women who, they are the boss in the family. And if they are angry, the whole family is to blame. And there's turmoil until they are satisfied. So yes, I would say my mom, my grandmother, my aunties, they are all the people that I look up to. And I believe that that was a good thing, because growing up, there was a lot of people in school who were, especially girls, who were very shy to speak, or they had something to say but they didn't want to say it. And I was the one that had to keep on pushing for them to talk, or I had to go and start fights on their behalf because I was the vocal one. So yes, it's very important.
Gitali?
Just like I said in my introduction, my mom, when I saw the photo of her on the fridge, mom has always told us that our voice is important. My mom, coming from an Indo-Fijian background, girls are pretty much restricted on doing things on their terms. My mom has always been there for me and my sister. We have done and gave a shot at anything and everything we wanted. But she instilled values and morals in us. She taught us the fine line between the right things to do and the bad things. So my biggest mentor is my mom, but I would like to say that every single person that has ever came into my life or left, they all leave a lesson. So I think that also factors in.
Tiare?
My motivation is my family, because of course it's our families. Growing up and having to share hard experiences and growing through it, it builds resilience, not just on an individual basis, but it builds a family resilience altogether. And it's always a very comforting feeling knowing that, knowing that when you're going through something, when you know you're going to fall, you know there are people to catch you. And yes, thank you.
Temalesi?
I would say it would be my mom. Oh, sorry. Yes, I would agree. Everyone needs a mentor, and I would say it would be my mom. She reminds me that you always need to be a loving person, have to be resilient, and also you have to sacrifice for the people you love.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
Oh my gosh! Oh, what's in the box?
You're probably wondering, what's in the box? Well, if you must know, it's actually me. Before you call the police, I'm actually an app. The all-new Fiji Village app. Here's an update. See what I did there? I gave you an update. What's new? Well, for starters, I look different. My new layout also comes with stories if you're looking for something short and sweet. I will bring you the latest news on the dot so you stay updated. You're welcome. You don't have to go anywhere for content because I bring the content to you. Not only can you listen to your favorite radio stations, you can also watch online video content. Which reminds me, do you love sports? Well, guess what? With the Fiji Village app, you can stay up to date with your favorite sports and scoreboards, no matter where you are. Your #1 news website just got better with an app. Download and get updated now.
Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the contestants for this year's Hibiscus Festival. And as I said earlier, it's a pleasure to have them here talking about issues that really matter to our young generation and what can be done about it. One of the biggest issues that a lot of people are talking about, and I'll start off with Rhyelle, is young people being dragged into drug use. Why do you think this is happening? And what can be done about it?
If I'm not wrong, there was a recent bust maybe a month ago, I would say, whereby 9 people were involved, and most of them were under the age of 25. But each of them had 3 things in common. They were smart, they had potential, but they all had poverty. They were all victims of poverty. They had nowhere else to turn to. One, their father needed dialysis and no one else in the family could provide. Another, both parents had passed away and they were the only ones that were having to look after their siblings. And because of this, cartels, or I would say drug dealers, found these people, these youths, and sort of dragged them into. And because when you're in a desperate situation, and when an opportunity arises, your first instinct is to take it, because we are all human beings, and being desperate when help is provided and you have nowhere else to turn to, that's where you go to. And I believe that that is why many youths are being dragged into. And to make it worse, our governments, I wouldn't say they're not doing their job, because Fiji is a progressive country. But I believe, like I've said before, most things are written on paper. There's a lack of reinforcement. There's a lack of action. And I believe if our government invests well in the future of these people, these youths of ours that carry our future, by giving them affordable education and other forms of financial assistance, then they wouldn't have to turn to drugs as an opportunity to make money.
Gitali?
Just 4 days ago, I was traveling from Nandi to Suva and I was reading the newspaper. There was a newspaper article on the cover page that rise in poverty, just like Rhyelle mentioned, is leading families to pull out their children from schools and education systems. And those children were involved in illicit drug use. So that is why I have chosen my advocacy as youth empowerment through education, because almost any problem that we have, education and knowledge is the answer, is the solution. So I urge parents that try your best to ensure that your child receives education, knowledge, they're in school, they're in proper uniform and they're going to school. Because once your child is educated, there will never be any harm. Your child will never be found wandering around drug use or illicit situations. So if this news made it headlines in the newspaper, I think it's very much prevalent in the society, and it's something that we need to take urgency to, that education can help reduce drug usage in youth. If they're in schools, if they're coming back home doing their homework, they will not have time to get involved in these kind of silly things. So I would urge parents to ensure that your child is receiving education, they're going to school, and try your best to keep them away from drugs.
Temalesi, many young people in Fiji are being dragged into drug use. You know, it's been in the media reports, has been stated almost on a daily basis now. Why do you think this is happening and what can be done about it?
I would say everything goes back home. It'll point back at home, because children needs to be supported, loved, and accepted in their own family. When they are neglected, they won't feel the love. They won't feel accepted. So in that way, they will find another way they can be loved. So family needs to love their children and accept them in the way they are, so that they don't turn to drugs in that way, so that they can feel loved. Yeah.
Anaseini?
Well, I think there's many young people in Fiji are using drug abuse just because of like parenting in the family. As Temalesi said, in the family, it's important to have family night, a communication night for family, to reduce the drug use for your family. And I think the way to prevent the use of drug abuse is to advocate on raising awareness on decreasing the level of drug abuse. Due to my advocacy as social advocacy network, that's one of my topics, and my main theme is to actually do and build a strong community. Thank you.
Tiare?
Like my mom always tell me, me and my siblings growing up, there's a story behind every behavior, and in terms of young people or people in general that turn to drugs. Turning to drugs, that's the end of everything. That's right at the end of everything they've been going through, and I think it would really help if, and there are awareness being made in how to go about if you've got a relative that is a drug user. And that also helps with the stigma with people who take drugs, like separate them from general community. That's what I would stress on.
Now, Gitali, Fiji has so much talent in music, dance, and art. Why do you think many young artists struggle to get recognition?
I would disagree on that. Liz, I think she's pretty well recognized. Indo-Fijian girl, I am Fijiana. She has Indo-Fijian roots. She's currently in America. She is going viral. So if some can, the others can too. But like on the previous questions that we answered, we do get through it. So their talent, they have dance, singing, whatever art or skill or talent they have learned it from somewhere, they have mastered their skill. So now it comes to putting it out as a job, as a career. That's where Fiji lacks. And we need to work on that sector in Fiji to make sure that these artists, these talent that we have, they're able to bloom in their full potential for the world to see.
Now, Rhyelle, what are your thoughts on that?
What was the question again?
Fiji has so much talent in music, dance, and art. Why do you think many young artists struggle to get recognition?
Great question. It is pretty much true that there's a lot of talent here, but there's a lack to advertise it. If you would look at the Cook Islands, everywhere you go, there's a dancing center, there's a singing center. People are playing the drums, playing the ukulele, singing their songs, dancing. But here in Fiji, there's not many places like that. There's not many creative dance spaces like that. There's maybe I would say a handful of places. And most of those places, in order to go to them, you'd have to pay. So I believe that in order to make these talents broadcast to a bigger sense, or maybe advocate or emphasize on them, we need to create those spaces. Our governments really need to look into that sector, because our culture is something that's very important to us, and it's a talent that is unique. And we need those spaces to be able to be ourselves and practice our cultures, our dances, our songs, teach us and also the generations to come. Because if we don't, then in a few years' time, they will be lost or modified and become more modernized and westernized.
Tiare?
I'm not a musician myself. I wish I was, but I definitely agree with Rhyelle's answer. And in that way, when we have institutions or spaces for cultural dances and things as such, not only cultural dances, but other talents that people have, that even young people have, then it also becomes an opportunity for young people to be employed in that sense, and then it's tourism again connected to that. And at the same time preserving the culture, and like I said earlier about selling the coconuts and making it an actual business, not everybody can climb a coconut tree, so they can shift it into the talent in whatever they are really, really good at. Yeah.
Temalesi, Fiji has so much talent in music, dance and art. You would agree as well. I believe many in Savu do that. Why do you think many young artists struggle to get recognition?
I believe it's the less of recognitions, because we need the company to invest in their groups so that they are well financed. Maybe the problem is financially. Yeah.
Anaseini?
Yeah, I totally agree with Temalesi. It's all about money, but in my idea, it was in my head, okay, I can sing. I do sing. I sing in the bathroom, in the toilet, wherever I go. But in my mind was where am I going to take this singing to? So, yeah, thank you.
Now, Temalesi, some say the younger generation is losing touch with culture and language. Do you agree, or do you think they are just expressing it in new ways?
I agree with it. I believe most of the young children nowadays, they hardly know their mother language, and it's such a shame, because our language is our identity, our mother language is our identity. I think the parents need to teach their children about their mother language, because it is who we are. It is what it says about your past.
Anaseini?
Question again, sorry.
Some say the younger generation is losing touch with culture and language. Do you agree, or do you think they're just expressing it in new ways?
Well, I totally agree. I think family time is the most important thing, to teach your kids what is right and what is wrong. And also,
In terms of culture and language, do you believe
yes,
that it is dying?
And it's dying because we have this social media platform that we use in a phone. Example, TikTok, Instagram. We spend most of the time on those platforms. Yeah.
Gitali?
I agree with it. I think children nowadays, the youth, they are really much compromising on their culture and their root and their heritage. And I think it is a responsibility of our leaders, our cultural leaders, our parents, that they should ensure that their child, their youth, the generations to come are taught what their culture is about, where they came from, who they are, and what they should believe in. With the rapid social media era that is going on, I think kids do fall under peer pressure, and to try to be the cool one and not fall under any cultural pressure, they forego their culture. I had a friend of mine who would try to fit in, as they say, fit in, and he would try to be normal like us. But he was just fine. When I look back to those days, I think he was just fine, and his culture is beautiful. And I'm glad that now, as we've matured, we've grown up, he appreciates his culture. So I think youth of today, they are really foregoing their culture, and our leaders, our cultural leaders, and our parents, our families, our communities really needs to back up our youth, because our culture for generations to come depends on the youths of today, but it's at the hands of our elders.
Tiare, what are your thoughts? The younger generation losing touch with culture and language.
I think that we are at risk of losing our culture and language. If I'm able to speak my mother tongue, if my friend is able to speak her mother tongue, then it's definitely not dead.
Kids can come in, they can learn different musical instruments,
I've always
language
loved
classes.
how my dad
I doubt a lot of
my
youths in
younger
Fiji know
brother
Sanskrit.
everywhere he
My
goes.
mom used to send me during my 7 weeks of holiday for a camp just to learn Sanskrit. I would have curry classes going on. Everyone in Fiji eats roti and curry. Have curry classes going on. How many youths know how to like roll around roti? I'm not saying it has to be round, but still. So something really light and easy that everyone is engaged in and uses and needs in everyday life.
And at the same time, it's
like going back to my Indo-Fijian side,
empowering other young
leaving
people
after my father's generation, like my uncles, my
keep
cousins and I, my
the
brothers and
wisdom of our
I
elders
hardly know anyone that can play a dholak at a cultural event night. So I think that is dying when my father and my uncles are no longer there, and it's just
I'm a student
my cousins
at
and like
USP,
the generations to come.
and every time I
Who's gonna
meet
be
a
the ones
Rutuman
playing
student,
those? So
I
I think
speak
a
to them
night
in
or a
Rutuman,
day where kids
and they
can
would
come in,
respond
youth
to me
can come in, and we
English
can focus
because
on
they
our
grew up
culture
here.
and the things that makes it
I
special
spent
and
3
the
years
things
in
that
primary
makes it
school in Rutuman,
ours.
so the
Temalesi.
Rutuman language was basically a
I would
subject I
focus
had to
on
learn how to read
the
and
project
write,
of focusing
and that
on
was how
Meke,
Rutuman
traditional
was.
Meke, and also
It
the
became
language
fluent
in
for me.
which we can.
And when I came here,
we can
I
teach
was
them
baffled
how to
because a
dance
lot
to Meke
of
in the right
students
way,
at
in the
USP
proper
are
way we
Rutuman,
learned from
but they
our
do not know how
ancestors,
to
and
speak.
also
They only know
to
how to sing the songs that have been
provide
recorded and
classes
put
about
on
teaching them
YouTube.
about their mother
And when
language.
you'd ask them to say a sentence in Rutuman, it would be, how do you pronounce it again? Or what is the word for it? That would be our conversation like, and then they could formulate a sentence in Rutuman. And I believe that that's because there's a lack of documentation on our languages. You don't find many dictionaries or storybooks or basically books in general that are written in our languages. Maybe there'll be like one dictionary or our own Bibles, our holy books, and that's very much limited. And I believe that if we expand our way of keeping our languages through documentation, then truly that can be a pathway to preserve it and instill it, especially in schools where children are there most of the time during the day, more than 8 hours, I would say. And if they could spend at least a time to learn their languages there, then that would really contribute a lot.
Anaseini, if you could lead a cultural project for young people in Suva, what would it look like?
A cultural project. Well, like I said, Tambure. If I would lead, I would take all the village men that actually build mburis and then take them with me and then do awarenesses on how to build the mburi, and then starting off in a small way and then going to a big places like to build something new.
Yeah. If you could lead a cultural project for young people in Suva, what would it look like?
I don't want to be biased, but I'll talk about the Itoke culture and maybe it can be implemented in other cultures. Like I'd mentioned earlier, maybe it can be introduced into universities, having mock sessions of, for example, a young man going to do a traditional engagement for a young woman, and having mock sessions of that, and having our uncles, our fathers to come and teach it, and then we do it ourselves. Having those mock sessions, and for other traditional events we have in the Itoke culture, I would love to introduce that.
I would focus on the handicraft side of things, because there's a thing with Pacific cultures. We have fans, bags, but there's a variety of fans. Like there's a specific fan for dancing, there's a specific fan for fanning the food, there's a specific fan for use in our cultural ceremonies. And I believe that that's one thing that we could showcase, and I would lead it personally, because for me, I learned how to make a tifui, the fuis, the stars, the Rutuman stars, when I was in Form 5, and I did my first on my own in Form 6, just by spending time with my auntie. And I realized that if we spend time with our elders or people in our family that know our culture and are actually good with the handicraft side of things, like weaving the mats, the fans, the bags, or even for our men, there's the coconut leaves, and then they weave the baskets, and there's different types of ways to do that. And I believe that that's something that's really beautiful, and if you can learn and keep it, then that's something that's really worth showcasing, because there's a variety, not just one.
Gitali? If you could lead a cultural project for young people in Suva, what would it look like?
It would be something on a Sunday whereby kids can come in, they can learn different musical instruments, language classes. Like, I doubt a lot of youths in Fiji know Sanskrit. My mom used to send me during my 7 weeks of holiday for a camp just to learn Sanskrit. I would have curry classes going on. Everyone in Fiji eats roti and curry. Have curry classes going on. How many youths know how to like roll around roti? I'm not saying it has to be round, but still. So something really light and easy that everyone is engaged in and uses and needs in everyday life. Like going back to my Indo-Fijian side, leaving after my father's generation, like my uncles, my cousins and I, my brothers and I hardly know anyone that can play a dholak at a cultural event night. So I think that is dying when my father and my uncles are no longer there, and it's just me, my cousins, and like the generations to come. Who's going to be the ones playing those? So I think a night or a day whereby kids can come in, youths can come in, and we can focus on our culture and the things that makes it special and the things that makes it ours.
Temalesi?
I would focus on the project of focusing on Meke, traditional Meke, and also the language in which we can teach them how to dance to Meke in the right way, in the proper way we were taught from our ancestors, and also to provide classes about teaching them about their mother language.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break. About 20 years ago, we had a major drug bust, and you would remember, you would have been part of the operations at Laudala Beach. A lot of people in Fiji did not know what was methamphetamine. And what we are picking up on, people are saying it's readily available. Just the issue in relation to General Secretary, was that a tactical move that he ejected himself from Parliament?
Personally, it's unfortunate.
How are you dealing with those police officers who may be allegedly involved in this?
No one is above the law.
We assure you that we will be having police officers around.
As a result of that bad policy, by the end of this month, we would have lost close to about $70 million in government revenue.
Bula Vinaka, I'm Vijay Narayan. This is Fiji Village Straight Talk.
Fiji Village Straight Talk with Vijay Narayan. Watch it live on the Fiji Village Facebook page and YouTube channel.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan and our guests tonight are the contestants for Hibiscus Festival 2025, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are listening and watching. The leaders also involved in this. A lot of good messages coming through, good ideas on what should be done from our young people, the issues that really matter to them. Temalesi, we all know littering is a big issue in Fiji. Why do you think people still do it even when they know it's wrong?
I think, okay, I see that in towns like there's like a lot of rubbish bins, but still they dump rubbish. I think there's just like no regulations provided for them to follow. Like I think the council should provide a strict rule to provide charges to those who dump rubbish just anyhow. I think that would do.
Tiare?
I feel that it's an individual problem because everyone growing up is taught you put your rubbish in the bin, bins are there, this particular bin is for this in specific places. And I feel, and I agree with Tema, there are fines, maybe more stricter fines, and like on an individual, they put there, they throw. And one thing I've always noticed, I've noticed it a lot when I'm on the road and I'm in the car and people are just going, throwing their rubbish out of the car. Oh man, it makes me furious, and steeper fines would be a great idea.
Anaseini?
Well, I think there are a lot of advertisement on TV, right? And we can get advertisement on TV of littering, even though there's still bins everywhere, but people are still doing it, some out of selfishness and yeah.
Rhyelle?
Well, I actually did a bit of research on this question maybe a month ago, because I did see the problem that we had, and it was littering, and I was wondering if we had a way to combat this. And in fact, our nation does have a legislation that says that we cannot litter, and if you do litter, there's a fine, and I believe there's also, you have to attend a court case, if I'm right. But the problem is there is no reinforcement. I'm so sorry. I've used that answer a lot, but that is the truth of things. Everything is written on paper. We see them on billboards, on signboards. Do not litter or you will have a fine of $50. Do not dump rubbish here. It is illegal. Do not place your rubbish here or you will be taken to court or something like that. Everything is there, but there's no enforcement on it. And I believe that that's because there's a lack of funding towards that area. We have we have the police, of course, but that's not their job. Environmental side should stick to the environmental officers. And because there's a lack of funding, there's a lack of workers who will look at this and actually put into place those legislations that have been set forth.
Do you think the on-the-spot individual fines of $40 is enough?
Well, not really, but it's a good start. As I've said, we are a progressive country, and baby steps is the way to go. We cannot instantly begin right from the top. We have to start somewhere, and those fines are our way of starting somewhere.
Gitali?
I agree with Ms. Unique Rubber Stamps. There are rubbish bins provided almost everywhere, on every street, every corner. So it's on the members of the public now. It's education maybe. Maybe they do not understand the consequences of their actions. The tiniest amount of little paper that ends up in the sea damages our reefs, our marine ecosystem, that later damages our mangroves, and potentially and eventually it will be damaging our homes and people that live on the shore. So it's education. Maybe they just do not understand. If the signs are put up, are they illiterate? Can they not read? But then it also talks about simple civic pride. Fiji is our soil. This is where we live on. Why do you want to make our home a dirty place? And I'm not saying everyone does it. It's just some members of the public. So this is a personal thing, I think. Because if you call yourself Fijian, you should take care of Fiji and stop littering.
Anaseini, if you were to lead a cleanup campaign for Suva, what would be your slogan to get people involved?
Well, my slogan would be hope in action. Meaning, you take action, you just don't see it and then you ignore it. You have to do something about it. Thank you.
Rhyelle?
I would say it starts with you and me, because everything will have to start somewhere. And if you truly want to see a cleaner Fiji or a safer Fiji, then it will have to start with you and with me. Collaboration, togetherness. If we truly want the change, then we have to work towards it.
Tiare?
Mine would be to walk the talk, because like we've been talking about in this segment, that there are legislations and all these policies and acts, and we need reinforcement. We need reinforcement on the larger scale, but at the same time, I could be the reinforcement myself. I could walk the talk myself, and if I can do that, I could be an example to someone else, and hopefully it will ripple. It will ripple.
Gitali, if you were to lead a cleanup campaign for Suva, what would be your slogan to get people involved?
It would be Suva shines, Fiji rise. Because if we start cleaning Suva, if Suva is shining, ultimately Fiji will be rising. It will be on fire. So amazing. So I would go for Suva shines, Fiji rise.
Temalesi?
Mine is actually a funny one. It's cleaner Suva, healthier Suva. Because even obviously when you keep your environmental clean, it will be healthier, like it'll be a healthier environment to live in. So yes, cleaner Suva, healthier Suva.
I'll ask you about our education system. Our school system is often criticized as being outdated. There's a lot of discussion about it. And of course, there's a lot of talk about updating it and to make it current for our younger generation to be all ready for the world that awaits them after they finish. How do we make sure, Tiare, young people leave school not just with certificates, but with real life skills and values as well?
I feel the answer is really simple. It's just to introduce those life skills in the curriculum. On one side, it's definitely easy to say, but then, like you said, with everyone criticizing the education ministry and all this talk about the curriculum, updating the curriculum, but definitely in implementing it into the school system and make it more realistic. I mean, I didn't come through the split mathematics when I was in high school, and then when I left, and then there was, what is it, life maths? Life maths and pure maths. That's a good step. If we keep it up, that'll be great.
Right.
I personally think that our education system is indeed outdated, because we are still used to our traditional ways of thinking, that we tend to forget that the modern day of today, like right now, everything is digitalized, everything is online. Most of the skills require an individual to have some sort of knowledge with how to use computers, how to type out documents, emails, because that's the main source of communication now. You hardly see anyone walking around with a big file that says documents, or it's just in a flash drive or maybe logged into their Google Drive. And that's something that we need to instill into our education system so that every individual is able to access that knowledge digest that knowledge and apply that knowledge.
Gitali?
I agree with Tiare. I think subjects needs to be streamlined so children can be more focused, but initiatives should also be brought in so that their knowledge and their skills are broadened. I also sometimes wonder why for extracurricular activities, stuff like artisans, mat weaving, something that also holds cultural importance is not held. Because once they leave school and they're not able to get further education, those cultural activities like mat weaving and stuff, that can earn you a lot of potential money, that can guarantee them a job till they have their life sorted or what they want to do. So they do need to streamline subjects, because like they said about the maths light and pure maths and light maths, so subjects could be streamlined, but other initiatives could be brought in so that children are in a broader spectrum of knowledge plus skills.
Anaseini, how do we make sure young people leave school not just with certificates but with real life skills and values?
Well, I could say that's why we have what do you call this? Vocational schools for people that actually have many
I'll ask you again. How do we make sure young people leave school not just with certificates but with real life skills and values?
I think we should make teaching skills, especially for teachers. We have teachers going outside of the country because of the less pay. I think we should focus on them because they're the reason students are there and giving them wisdom and knowledge. Yeah.
Temalesi?
I think we should involve religion classes in the curriculum, cultural classes, so that they can know the values and the culture also.
Now, Rhyelle, finish this sentence for me. For Fiji's future, I dream of.
For Fiji's future, I dream of resilience. Do you want me to explain on it?
Yes.
Well, the NFA, I will talk about my sponsors because these are the people I've spent most of my time with, especially during high school. The NFA's motto is resilient communities with effective emergency services. The word resilience, I believe, is very strong, especially here in Fiji, because we have a lot of issues that we face, yet we never gave up on them. We are putting initiatives there. We are trying our best. The steps are small, but it's something. And I believe that that is an act of resilience in itself. And if we could maybe push forth on those things, add more force to it or action to it, then truly the word resilience would be bolded there and would say Fiji, the country of resilient warriors.
So for Fiji's future, I dream of resilience. Yes. Gitali?
For Fiji's future, I dream of unity. And I'll back it up saying, during the Miss Hibiscus Festival, I actually received a lot of hate and negativity from some members of the public, but I chose to rise above it. What makes Fiji special is our multiculturalism. Different cultures, different backgrounds, different people. Look at us beautiful queens, but we're like a beautiful pot of lovo. Every special side dish is there. So that's something I would want to see from Fiji, that there's less of racism, less of hating, and it's more about supporting your women, your youth, and every single person that is a Fijian, no matter where their story starts.
Anaseini? Finish this sentence. For Fiji's future, I dream of.
For Fiji's future, I dream of hope. Hope in action. Doing what is right when you see that something is wrong in the community and in Fiji. Thank you.
Temalesi?
For Fiji's future, I dream of success. I think that I believe that everything we're doing here, the pageant, the contestants, we all already succeed in life. So yes, in the future, we already have youths here. We're going to be future leaders. So yes, I believe that our future would be a successful one.
And Tiare, finish the sentence. For Fiji's future, I dream of.
For Fiji's future, I dream of, I want to say inclusiveness, but it would be mixed up with unity, it will be included in unity as well, but I leave it as that because I can't fit the word, I'd have to turn the sentences around if I wanted to fit wholesome in it, because what I would mean with that is a holistic approach, a holistic Fiji, more like.
A united.
Yes, basically. Inclusive, united.
Very good themes chosen by the Queen contestants tonight, and it's been a pleasure talking to you and giving you this platform as well to express your views very honestly and openly to the people watching and listening around Fiji and the world. That's Miss Leleuvia Resort Tiare Colavoli, Miss National Fire Authority Rhyelle Aisea, Miss APCO Coatings Gitali Ram, Miss Unique Rubber Stamps Temalesi Tuiwalese, and Miss Social Advocacy Network Anaseini Loiloi. Of course, they will be featured in a few of the public judging sessions that is coming up in the course of this week, and the crowning that will take place at around 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Suva Foreshore. All the best to you from all of us. We are cheering for all of you. Great messages coming through, and continue with the work that you have embarked on, starting with this pageant. All the best for you and in the future. Until next week, have a great evening.